So we have a board forum. We try to do them quarterly. So in addition to this board forum, there will be one January 28th as well as April 28th. And the reason for the board forum is to allow people to come and get an update about how we're doing with our budget and other things that the board has been doing, and to be able to ask questions to get clarity and also to provide feedback, because we are here also to give information as well as to listen to people who want their input heard directly by the board. So again, I welcome everybody, and yes, and other ways to find out about the board. David, our secretary of the board, has been extremely proactive about sharing more of the board activity with the congregation. And you can find a report of each of the board meetings. They go into the Connect, a link in the Connect. Last month we started, and way at the bottom, you got to scroll a long way. But after the board meetings, will be there'll be a link in the Connect to a board meeting report, so you can kind of find out what we're up to in those meetings. I am very pleased. We have a couple of announcements this morning. Big news. I'm very pleased to announce that UUCD has hired a new music director. That person is Karen Bauman. In her work, Karen comes to us with extensive experience in UU music programming leadership, including 21 years as the music director in this congregation. And I'm so excited that about all the things that Karen brings to this community. I am also very pleased to announce that UUCD has hired a new director of religious education, and that person is Deb Johnson. Some may remember Deb as the DRE at UUCD in the 2000s. Deb comes to us with experience in UU religious education leadership, as well as extensive experience in the Duluth Public Schools as a teacher, teacher trainer, health educator, and case manager. What I wanted to say about these hires is that this really represents an incredible milestone for our new minister, Jill. Thank you so much, Jill. When Jill started with us at the beginning of August, we had 2 resignations and had 2 positions to fill, and there was a lot of uncertainty, and it was some of our most transition-y transitions. And so for Jill to jump in and create job descriptions, assemble the search teams for these, and follow the process that we have in our bylaws to for the interviews, and coming to this moment, especially trying to do all of this as a part-time minister. My goodness, this was an incredible turnaround, and here we are, and this feels like an achievement. So thank you so much. And behind the scenes, in a parallel track, there have been just an amazing number of volunteers continuing to make RE and music happen at UUCD in the period of time that our 2 positions ended, and these 2 hires are now going to be starting November 1st. So just a massive shout out to all of the volunteers, particularly our RE people who have made sure that all of our kids have gotten what they need on Sunday mornings. So all of that, are there any questions about any of that before I pass it on to Elisa? Wonderful. Elisa, take it away.
morning.
Good morning.
I'm Elisa, your treasurer, Elisa DeRuyter. I just realized this is going to be the last September quarterly report from yours truly. Very sad. So if anybody's interested in being treasurer, it's a great gig. We have a good finance council. It's not scary. I will be there. Just putting that out there. So I believe it's projected. And there are handouts. If somebody would like to take a handout, or we could pass them around, it's the exact same thing that's on the screen. But if you're having trouble seeing the screen, so good. So this is just going to be good news quarterly board forum day. We had a significant budget surplus from last year.
Woo!
Very exciting.
Say it again, just so you can.
We had a huge budget surplus, $45,000. Okay, so it may seem like we don't know what we're doing because we've had such a huge budget surplus. But there are a lot of unusual factors that we were trying to overcome. We had a $23,000 deficit. So here's this column where this is how we were budgeting what we thought was going to happen. We had all this staff transitioning things we were doing. So we ended up actually not only with a $45,000 surplus, but if you think about it, it's $60,000+ extra based on what we thought we would do. So what happened was, because we had this deficit, our board and some others had a second pledge drive that we encouraged people to give more or found newcomers, and we ended up then raising an additional $35,000, which now you can see where we're making up the difference. Then we ended up having some shortfalls in expenses. There's some more. So some of the shortfalls in expenses, it was about 16,000. Some of that was staffing because of this transitioning time. As Sarah said, the most transition times. We ended up having a shortfall. And then, of course, our additional revenue that came in were our rummage sales, and that just did great. And other things are coming back, like people are starting to use our building again. So we wanted to budget really low because we didn't know what was going on. And so now we're having weddings, rentals, this kind of stuff. So that gives you the good news. So what I'm going to tell you before we get into the details of the rest of this is that what the board decided to do with the $45,000. So we wanted to bring our UUA fair share up to the suggested amount. So that was $20,000, and we only budgeted $11,000. We brought that up to the full amount because we use the UUA services so much. We attend, they have seminars. There are people who come up from the cities and do trainings with us and do retreats with the board and help us transition when we were going through minister to minister. You know, we're supposed to be doing that, but they helped us this whole entire way. And not that I'm saying we need to pay for services, but it is the right thing to give to an organization in which you feel is doing something good in the world, whether or not you get a service from them. Like paying union dues is kind of what I feel like. It's they're there for you, and we need to be there for them and support their staffing. So there was that chunk, and then the balance of it went straight into the building reserve. I know that's not very exciting, but now we have a nice, robust building reserve. I think it was like 67,000. We'll get it on to it from the next slide. So this means we can fix things like I don't know, look at this window, why is that window all, we probably need to address that. We've also got an issue on the east end door, so David, who will be next, will be talking about our newly formed facilities council, not to be confused with the finance council. And they are creating lists of things we need to do and what the priority is, and we're gonna use this money that we have to maintain our building. It's kind of like when you know, when you build a new house, not that you know, like heard, that then eventually, after a while, like things start to, you know, you have this new stuff, and then it starts to need replacing and fixing. And we're at that point, so we need to now be good stewards of our building and make sure we're taking care of it the proper way. So that's why it went into the building reserve. And we were all very happy. There wasn't much, there was a lot of, there's my senior moment.
Dreaming?
Oh,
Planning?
no, yeah. We all kind of agreed that building reserve needed the money. There wasn't a lot of dissent, I guess you could say. There was a lot of consensus, thank you. So, does anybody have questions about that that tidbit of information? We'll pass around a microphone whenever we get to that point. Okay, again, you can jump in with questions at any time. Includes the online people. I imagine you'll just let me know if somebody's got anything. So here I've got a
At the beginning, you have income July 22nd to June 23 actual. Oh, yeah, it's budget. I can read it all.
That's good.
Question answered. You are good.
I knew before.
Well, I think you also mentioned something about we have all these furnaces and they've reached their beyond the years that they're supposed to already.
Yes,
That's
we
a
are.
huge thing.
Yes, yep, that we are, furnaces, we've been told are kind of through their life and that they could probably go at any time, so we're prepared to replace furnaces as needed. I don't know if everybody knows this, why we have so many furnaces. It's kind of a, it's an energy efficiency thing, so you can turn on certain areas of the building, but also one of the selling points was if a furnace breaks down in the middle of winter, you have to call out a special service person on a Saturday night because we have service Sunday morning. That's a lot of money versus if you just have regular home furnaces, that's a lot more people at a lot cheaper price. And plus a furnace could go and we would be fine. We wouldn't need the emergency Saturday night call out. So I always found that cool about that, our building. So here we've got two columns. This is last year because this is the first time that we've talked about last year, and we kind of went through that with the surplus. I mean, look at this. This is what we brought in pledges. I think that was pretty cool. I think that means that we really support this congregation and our organization, and we're willing to participate in good staffing. So we upped. So you see the budget 250 last year. We upped our budget, our pledge drive expectations to 275, thinking that we can do this. We've got this. This provides good resources for our congregation. There's not a lot. You see nursery school rent. I should make sure we clarify the gray columns are our budget, and then the white were the actual. So we're only at 3 months, so you can see that we should be at about 25% of our budget, which we basically are. That's this column, this AJ column. There's not a lot going on. Nursery school rent goes up every year. That's a planned thing with our contract with them. And building. To go in with what we actually pull in close, not all the way, but for rummage sale and other special events. So that's 20,000, but I think that's doable because it's what we've been doing, and sometimes even more. 7 too far. Sorry. This, no, it's not. Okay, so here are our expenses. See, it's not me. There we go. Here are our expenses. This includes a minister at 0.75, and then the newly hired positions that you just heard about. Sports staff, all the other expenses are pretty standard. We really rely on Kathy Stinnett, our administrator, to guide us because she knows what's coming up. She'll get the notices if some expenses coming up or rates are increasing. This also includes in here this utility expense. It's slightly smaller, so that includes not only regular increases but also a good decrease because of our solar panel. So we'll see how that plays out. We haven't had a full year to even know what that looks like yet. We just have estimates. Committees. I think I've told you this before, whatever a committee needs to do programming, we generally just say, yes, we're going to support this. This is why we're here for our committees to get whatever funds they want to do the things they need to do. Right now, we're still at a conservative $4,000 surplus. We might buckets of snow last year that we were comments, concerns. Jealous.
Very briefly getting on my soapbox. Rummage sale brings in about 10,000 a year. We're planning to have it again, and boy, do we have the stuff already to have a sale, but we don't have the energy right now. However, this is our last year. Charlie, Diane, and I are older, 80. We're not going to be able to do it. We got Mark in Snyder, who is one person. We need 2 more people to help take charge to make it go. So give it a thought. And if you take charge, we will be there to help you, but our bodies just aren't going to be there full time.
Good call, Jill. Thank you for bringing it up. So yeah, let's succession planning. I said that was it, but I lied. I forgot I had the second slide. It's not as much fun to look at, but it is our assets and how we're doing. It is on the back side of your sheet. Just if you want to spend more time looking at it, you've got a few years comparisons. You remember a balance sheet is like a snapshot at a specific time. This is where it is right now. Still doing fairly well. You can see we have $85,000 in member loans still. We are working on a repayment plan idea on how we're going to get rid of this. We also have an additional 15,000 in member loans that ended up living in the restricted operations section because of these 15,000 were a loan to put the solar panels on. Once we get a rebate, we're going to just pay that off right away. So it's kind of a separate little deal. The endowment fund is is at the point where it can start spending money if it would like to. That's an exciting thing. And that's it. So for real this time, that's it. But you have papers like you asked for, so we can take them away and call any of us. I saw James hand.
I should,
I should probably know the answer to this question, but, in terms of the endowment fund, is it the endowment committee then that would make the decision about how to spend the fund?
Yeah, they're gonna, and Bill, sitting right next to you, is on the endowment committee. Yay, Bill. Oh, you are? I'm sorry.
And I'm actually sitting next to her.
And next to you. You're in the right row.
But doesn't the endowment fund make the recommendations and then it has to be approved? By the board?
Yes.
That's the process I've done.
Oh, my bad. This is new to us to even spend money on endowment.
Yeah.
We're very rusty. We're very rusty at this policy.
I am wearing my nominating hat as I stand and speak to you, and know that this would be a great year for you to let us know if you want to join the board. We have openings on the board. We also have openings on the nominating committee, as well as possibly endowment, but I think the endowment's pretty set. So know that this would be a great time to get involved in those. And we do have training available for you, should you want to do that. So it's always fun to come on when the numbers are in the black and we're doing well. And, we've got staff, we've got, and yet there's always fires to put out. So know that too. But I think we've got a great program going here, and we've got a great congregation. So consider it and let us know.
Let's see, Linda, next.
What type of things are eligible to get funds from the endowment fund?
It would be, sorry, did you have?
And then second, can you make recommendations to the committee?
Yes, so, it would be, I believe it is capital and social justice. Anything else? And then, they are working on a process by which people can put through proposals to be, I think there'll probably even be a form you fill out. I'm just snowballing here, like it'll be an official, like almost like you're getting a grant. Like, here, I've got this great idea. Are we going to fund this? Bill and Joe.
What percentage of that 100,000 are we allowed to spend each year?
There are some really, really good rules, and I'm not sure that we could get into it all. It's in the bylaws, and maybe, Bill and Teresa, maybe we want to have a forum on the endowment committee and get like all of this, the details out sometime.
I think realistically, the initial grants are going to be modest because you have to build a certain purpose. And according to the bylaws, once we get over $100,000, we can start making grants. But I think we have a two-pronged. We want to start, we need to have a process. It's clear to everybody how to apply for grants, to what we're going to fund, how to apply. Is there a schedule? We say this is what we're going to accept, evaluate. We don't have a lot to give away, but we can start doing it. And then the other thing is we want to continue to build. The larger the purpose gets, the more we can do. So we want to make people aware that this is a terrific thing to get to, because the more we build this up, the more we can back to various projects.
Thank you. So I think I appreciate all the questions. We have a whole nother segment on facilities, and I don't want to eat up into any more of David's time because this is a new exciting thing, but you know who to talk to get more questions answered. Thank you. Been a good crowd. I'll be here all week.
Okay, you see that the screen shows?
Yes.
All right. We're probably trying to cram too much into this forum. And we may need another endowment forum and another facilities council forum too, but this will just be an introduction. So as it shows on the slide, we realize that Grace has already mentioned the fact that we've reached the point where more things are needing maintenance and repair and replacement. Kathy Stinnett has done a tremendous amount, being the administrator of so much of the maintenance and the inspections of the building, and we've had volunteers who have done a tremendous amount since the construction, since the establishment of the building. So this is, I'm answering the questions, why a facilities council? We've mentioned the 11 furnaces with their heating zones, we have the commercial kitchen, we have the indoor garden, we have many other things that make this building so special. We've been in it 20 years, maintenance, upgrade, repair needs are growing. We've relied on this circle, this cadre of volunteers who have been involved from the beginning, but they won't be available forever. And as Joe mentioned with the rummage sale, the committees find the limits to their ability to maintain themselves to these things. So we need to look at new ways to deal with these needs. And as again, the last thing here, many elements of management have fallen to Kathy Stinnett as our congregational administrator. She is making plans to gradually retire, and so she proposed this council. And so this is basically the structure that she proposed, and she put it out there, and the board said, okay, yes, we'll do this, we'll establish the council, but as she said in her own words, this is a beginning, the first step, that is this what is written here, so it will be modified and tweaked a little bit. Yes. The volume?
I think you're good if you just speak.
Okay, I'll put it right here. Oversight and management of all aspects of building maintenance and capital improvements. Okay, that's pretty sweeping. Regional wording, administration, regularly and scheduled inspections, and I realize inspections were mentioned again later, so I put this together and I changed it, and this is semi-approved. Responsibility for all regularly scheduled, semi-annual, annual, and less often required inspections, and I'll show what they look like in a minute. Some are internal, done by the facilities council members or other volunteers. Some are external. In fact, most are external, done by contracted inspectors or county state inspectors to meet local and state safety regulations. All right, basic purpose: identification of needed repairs, replacements, updates, installations of all equipment, parts of the building, parts related to the building. Analysis of whether the need can be met by volunteer labor or if it would be better served by contracting with a professional. Submission of invoices and receipts to the administrator for payment. Then a different, kind of an ongoing way to describe the functioning of this facilities council. It'll be staffed by volunteers, at least 3, but up to 5. Okay, point to pause. Right now, Barb, Monty, and I have stuck our necks out and said, okay, we will be volunteer members of this council, but we need some more. And so this is another kind of, as Jill expressed, this is an opportunity for you to think about joining this council. Whether we have monthly meetings or actually Barb and I have been communicating more regularly and consistently since we've been getting involved with this, and so whether or not we actually sit down to a monthly meeting, we'll see, but the needs will be met by communicating. Essentially, an administrative body would then contact lists of volunteers willing to do various kinds of labor maintaining building facilities. I'm just going to go ahead for now. Facilities council would maintain this list of volunteers that like to do the labor parts and solicit new volunteers, and I'll kind of show you what I have for a form. Now, be provided with a budget during the annual budget process, be able to use the funds through a procedure, including a form, and I'll show you a form that I put together. Note that Lisa has already referred to the building reserve. Well, this reserve fund is the source of the funding, basic source of the funding. And as Kathy suggested, the funding request for tasks costing less than $1,000, the facilities council through the administrator would authorize and accept bids and then carry on with the, meeting the expenses. Funding requests over $1,000 presented for approval by the Finance Council, and they could approve then up to say $5,000. Risk request approval by the Board of Trustees. More responsibilities. Responsible for keeping records of work done, contact information, companies doing the work on that. Right now, there are binders in the office, in Kathy's office, that have this information, and so the Facilities Council would be responsible for maintaining these records and maybe putting them into a online form, not an online, but a computer form too. Provide a form that congregation members and staff can use to report items they need maintenance or repair. I'm talking kind of fast. And I'll show you a proposal of that form. Submit monthly reports to the Board of Trustees and annual report to the congregation, the type of thing that each major committee needs to do. All right. Now I'm going to pop up here some of the things that I've mentioned that need to be done. Let me do first. Related to volunteers, I've begun to put together, see if I can make this big. Well, this is not really bigger. Okay, looking at the building and kind of dividing it into maintenance domains. The kitchen is a major domain. It's going to have repair and maintenance needs. The HVAC system, we've mentioned the furnaces already, and there's air conditioning involved. The thermostats. The speaking and presenting this at this meeting came up because there was a question about the thermostats. We have 11 furnaces. That's fine and dandy, but we also have 11 thermostats. 11 thermostats that are individually programmed and have to be managed. And there are things to do with them, the things not to do. Sometimes people come into this hall and they decide it's too warm or too cold, and they start poking the thermostat, and that can kind of demolish things. So that's an element that we need to be sensitive to. The garage, the doors, they're regularly inspected. There's drainage, there are things we need to be dealing with regularly with them. The elevator, there's an elevator company, there have been issues in the last year with them and maintenance and maybe updating of things in the elevator. There's a communication system in that elevator that is kind of complex. The plumbing and sewage, we have grinder pumps. We've had issues with that in the past. The audiovisual, I visited with Bruce Holman, and that area is pretty much managing itself. The indoor garden, I've had Ann take me on a tour of the pumping system to do that. But okay, music, piano, okay, we'll have a music committee, and Karen at this point to guide that. Sanctuary, we have a chancellor committee already. So a lot of these things already have people who will manage and maintain them. Now I was looking here, I wanted to show, here we go. Inspections. Inspections were one of the things listed up there, which the Facilities Council should be involved with. Now, inspections should, up until now, have all been managed and administered by Kathy Stinnett. Just looking at, can you see that? The visuals here. All right, there are a lot of inspections, and some of them require state people to come in, county people to come in, city people to come in. Others we have contractors that come in and check them out. And so this is a pretty major element of the management of the facilities, that if the Facilities Council is the managing body, we need to be on top of this inspection list. Okay, I mentioned. Oh, okay. Kathy's proposal suggests that we have a maintenance. Does that get bigger? A little bit. A maintenance, repair, improvement request form. So if any of you during your day or days or Sunday or whatever it is are in the building and you see something that needs a repair, improvement, that kind of thing, this form will be available we fill it out, it's submitted to the facilities council, and then when we get together, we can begin to act upon it. Okay, I'm not gonna get to everything here. Or just an idea of our contractors. Because if things go wrong, or for maintenance, who do we contact? Well, again, to put together a list, I've sat down with Kathy and gone over these kinds of things. And so this would be our source of information to, and if this is a work in progress, so it's not all completed. So it's ready to go. All right, now, given the time, I'm going to stop here for questions. Bottom line is that we are going to need continued support from those who have in the past shared their time, expertise, knowledge, and done up to now all of the maintenance, for the building. Plan is to kind of formalize this and have this oversight committee, like, Koresh and Tom Betts and Jim Seitz and others. We are going to continue to tap. What I haven't shown is I'm going to Koresh took me around to the furnaces and the filters and to the kitchen and all that, and showed me much. And then I have made little videos of how to do the furnace filters and what there is involved with the range and how to run the dishwasher. And there's not time now, but I have them on thumb drive. And so we can put them in. So the idea is in the future, as different people come in and need to learn, hey, I did a little GoPro video and Ann took me to the, see where the business is that controls the waterfall. Ideally, at some point, I'm gonna have this all put together. So if anybody needs to know how to fix something or, that kind of business, how to operate something, look in the thumb drive, watch the video. Okay, any questions? Because we need to wrap things up. But this all is a work in progress.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, everyone.